Yeah, hi everyone. This is a knowledge group bi-weekly so far, and today is April 25th. Yeah, and we can start. I kind of added this how do you feel block on the top of the agenda. So please just delete the yellow, orange, green, sorry, like whatever dots which don't apply. Kind of tell us how you feel in general, and we can kind of discuss. Hey, Matthew.
Hey,
Not necessarily we need to discuss, but just let it be there. Um, cool. And I guess we can jump into it. Himanshu, you have a first item.
Yeah, I want to talk about the Wiki Commons MR. As some of you know, I had pitched Wiki Commons in discussions as a Google Summer of Code project, but unfortunately, GitLab was not selected as a mentor organization. But we still managed to find a student who is very enthusiastic and wants to work on the feature as a contributor anyway. And he made a POC sort of. He doesn't really understand Ruby on Rails well, so I said it doesn't matter. You can use any kind of technology just for the POC, just to make it work. And he did something with Node.js on a separate server. Uh, so my question is that I don't really have much backend experience. Like I can understand Ruby on Rails, but this work is going to need like significant implementation in terms of the database. Like you need we need some tables and syncing of the wiki git repository to uh, to the database and vice versa. So I'm asking for support, like if anyone has some time they can dedicate to in the next 2 to 3 milestones during the summer when the student will mostly be working on, can collaborate with me and the student to deliver this feature.
so Vlad, do you want to take this or should I?
I mean, we had a little bit of a discussion today with Himanshu in the morning. What I was suggesting, sort of in general, about the wiki direction is that we may try the process of the technical blueprints. And I'm not sure how much you're familiar with it. Quick show of hands, who knows what it is? GitLab? All right, nobody. So basically, it's like the way to align on the architecture. And normally, like we choose the DRI, which I think on our team, given that Himanshu has done a lot of work on the discovery for the wiki features, it can be Himanshu. And like the rest of the team collaborate. So basically, like we create a merge request to the development documentation at GitLab, saying, hey, this is the feature we want to develop, and this is the approach that we want to take. We can do, while we sort of write it, we can do proof of concepts, we can do whatever. And yeah, like on the merge request, everybody as a team collaborates on how we approach this. Yeah, and there is also somebody, usually like a staff plus engineer, not necessarily from the same team, who like there is a special role as a coach, and he's basically asking difficult questions, making you think more and more. So I thought that we may do that for wiki, and specifically we discussed it with Himanshu that we can do it for comments and permissions, because it's not exactly obvious how we want to store comments on the backend. Yeah, so that is my current thinking. If we're talking about allocating some backend capacity, next couple milestones, that's gonna be tricky, I now realized, because Casio is moving basically start on Monday. And we still have a bunch of work on the Pages multi-version for at least, I think, one more milestone. So that's gonna be kind of tricky. What we can do is try to squeeze, like proof of concept on the backend for some part to let to give this community contributor something to work with. But I don't know. Yanis,
It's
Casper, what do you think? Sorry, go ahead.
sorry,
Finish.
yeah, the backend part, the community contributor isn't going to do much. It's going to be mostly me. So I just need some help on the like setting up the databases and migrations. That's all. And when I can get familiar with that, then it should be easier.
I think I can help with merge request reviews and guidance on those things. Even with my limited time, just assign the merge request for me and I can comment on that and give some guidance about database and all those things. I won't have time to really develop anything or do much more than that, but reviewing and guiding and giving you more information or pointing the directions, I think I can help with that.
You also have me. I can help support you with that. If you say the community contributor makes a POV in Node.js, I have quite some familiarity with that framework. So I think I can support you there. I'm not sure if I can do a bunch of work, but with regards to support, I'm here.
All right.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, just to add that the community contributors' work would mostly be like 10-15%, and it's going to be us doing like more than 80% of the work. So we have to keep that in mind because he's a student still in college. So we have to do a lot of hand-holding there.
Does he have time only this summer and can limit it to this next couple months?
I think so. And given that it's not an official GSOC program, it could also be possible that like other community contribution, he loses interest and doesn't follow up. So I'm just saying that we are just getting some help from him, and we think of this as something that we are delivering ourselves, just with a little bit of help from the contributor.
I was also wondering, how did he or she decided that this is the most interesting feature and they want to work on this, on the comments specifically, not on something else?
Well, that's their choice, I think, because for GSOC, there were 5 projects listed, and given their expertise and field of interest, this was the most interesting for them. The other projects required different skill sets, like having core knowledge of Git and maybe C, C++. So this was more relevant to them.
Okay. I was wondering if they want to contribute and their core skill set isn't front end, then maybe we can find something which is more kind of aligned with that and don't require as much backend support if they would be open.
Well, they have already made the contribution. He has already made a proof of concept that at least works in some capacity.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. All right, what do you think we need on the backend side to unblock him? Like the list, like what is the listing that we need to do?
I need support from someone to have set up some new models and set up migrations. I'm not sure how to do that. We basically need a new model called wiki meta, which stores the meta information related to the wiki page, and it stores it in the database.
Okay.
Will we need a table for the comments themselves as well, or are you planning to store the comments in the meta?
The meta only would have associations. I think we can store the comments in the notes table, but I'm not really keen on polluting that table even further. So probably make a new table.
I think at least for the POC, making a new table makes sense to just to assess and keep the data apart. Just those two models and the database stuff, it's not that hard. Again, if you can, I can give you just some guidelines from Rails itself to how to build the models and the tables, and you can start that, and I can review it. It should be pretty straightforward to just have the models and the database.
Yeah, if that is the case, then that's perfect. Then I think that would give me a good start. The other problem is that I myself don't have capacity, at least in this milestone. So we need to allocate some time for this feature if we want to prioritize in the next one, or like 17.1 or 17.2.
Okay.
Yeah. If you don't mind, book a time with me next week, and we can do a pair programming, and I can just go with you on how to create a model and this kind of stuff, and you see
Okay.
how you can go with your own legs from there.
Yeah, sure. By the way, we already have these kind of models and everything for the wikis from about 3-4 years ago. I wonder if we can reuse them, or it's better to make new ones. So we can analyze them.
Yeah. Now I'm wondering, are we using those tables?
No, we are not.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about that next week then. Book like half hour with me, and we can pair program on that a little bit. I think would be nice.
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
Thank you both. That's great collaboration there. But given that we don't have the capacity this milestone, and I would still love us to do the proper, architecture step on this. Like if I would schedule something now, I would say, let's schedule this blueprint for comments basically for the next milestone. And then as part of this blueprint, we can make a POC, which on the backend, which this community contributor can then use as a starting point. My only worry there is that like we'll do the POC. I'm not sure when we'll be able to merge like any backend and subsequently the front end within like next 2-3 months. And also it kind of depends on how quickly we deliver what we currently have and what will be the next priority. Matthew, were the comments kind of the next thing that you wanted to work on, or it was in the background?
Yeah, the comments are sort of a unexpected, I think, contribution. So there's no pressure on us to move forward quickly with them. I think I really like that Himanshu is bringing all this up because I think it lays the foundation of what we need to do to complete them. But yeah, we're not in like a huge rush. No one's really expecting us to deliver them soon. So I appreciate Casio supporting next week, even as he's moving. But I think, yeah, we can, as we plan, Vlad, 17.1 and 17.2, we can sort of look at what capacity we want to start adding towards it.
Yeah. I think what we should do is just schedule this sort of technical discovery work, and we can kind of start doing this, make a POC. It will be something to unblock the community contributor, but we're not yet committing to delivering something. But then if like in a couple milestones, we decide that it's actually not that hard to do, this issue has like 200 upvotes on it. So let's schedule it. So yeah, let's start with the technical discovery work in 17.1. We'll allocate some capacity for it on both front end and back end, and we'll see from there how it goes. So it was read-only, but I'll make it not read-only. Thank you so much, Matthew, for keeping the awesome notes here. Really, really good. Casio, you have a next one.
It's just a bit of a reporting on the multiple deployments from my side. The version from limiting, it's almost merged. I'm just waiting for a last review from a person who is very busy at the moment, Vladimir. Sorry to put you on the spot there, but I just want you to take another look in there. I already got a lot of all the approvals from backend and database, but since you have some knowledge as well of what's going on and you're gonna help me to support that in the future, I think it would be nice to have an extra review from you there. And once we get that, we can merge that one. And I also created a new issue to give the user a warning if they are trying to use multiple deployments without the feature being enabled, just to avoid confusion on the behavior of the pipeline. So that one was kind of small, but I decided to do that for better comprehension of the feature as we deliver it. I'll probably start working on the documentation today as well. And extra stuff, I did a little refactoring on the page validation building, and I found a bug on the UX. Thank you, Matthew, for the idea of sharing that bug on the UX channel. A few people are already trying to help. I'm just testing at the moment if the fix that they are proposing will fix the bug that we're having there. But I think we are in a good, getting very close to deliver. As I mentioned, the V1 of the limits are almost done, but I think we should try to do the V2. I'll try to spark that conversation later today or tomorrow about if we should count or not. That was actually an idea from Vladimir, but if we should count or not the projects that have unique domain. Since the idea of the limit is to protect the internal API, the internal API is only impacted by projects that don't use the unique domain feature. So maybe we can not count them towards the limit, which would make things a little bit more flexible for our users. So I'll start that conversation on that issue soon, because I'm already doing a lot of other stuff as well. But yeah, that's basically it. And today is probably my last meeting here. I want to say thank you, everyone, again for everything. I'm not going too far. I'll still be around. I'm still close. Ping me, call me for a coffee chat or pair programming or anything. And thank you all for everything. And sorry about all the bad jokes and the good ones as well.
I've only heard good jokes.
Yeah, never heard a single bad one.
Such a
Casio,
good liars, you all.
Casio, can we schedule this? Just open an issue for the not counting the unique domain, so we have somewhere to discuss it. But I don't think that we need to do it in the first version. I would rather focus on the UI for the limits and the other thing will expire it. So yeah.
Yep.
I did want to bring up just to be clear, Giannis, are you feeling good with the as Casio transitions, like picking up and continuing the work? Because I know it's a big ask. I mean, you just got back as well. So how are you feeling about everything?
Well, depends on the question. Do I feel like I have some kind of overview over what needs to be done to get this over the finish line? Yeah, I do think so. I don't have a lot of insight into the MRs and issues that I haven't written myself or contributed to myself. But I think that's something that I pick up as I go along as it's needed. So
okay.
Yeah, I'm mostly comfortable with taking this over, but yeah, we'll see.
And I want to ensure again that I'll be here. I already talked with Kushal. I already talked with Kushal, and he's aware that leftovers is normal during transition. That's not my first transition as well. So I want to be supporting the team until this crosses the final line, at least GA internally, at least turning it on for the first time for some customers. I want to be here for all that. So Yanis, I think we're doing great. You already heard that before. I've been reviewing your merge request. We worked together before your paternal leave as well. So I think we're doing fine. It's a lot of context, I know, but you have support. I just want to ensure that you have support.
That's exactly what I mean.
And anything on Go side, if you want, I can also take part in that. If it is there, yeah. I have not looked deeper into the multiple deployments, but I know you are working majorly on the Rails side, but if there is anything.
Yeah, I mean, the next part of the work is front-end side mainly. So I'm feeling very comfortable with that. So I'm quite good, yeah.
Kind of a side topic while we're on this. Yanis, Himanshu, how do you feel about sort of sharing the work there? I don't know. Does it make sense for Himanshu to take a look into this pages stuff and for Yanis to help with some of the wiki issues because there is some backend work there? Or are you both comfortable with how it's currently going and everything is all right?
Difficult question. I think a lot of the pages work is building on top of each other. So there's not a lot of sense in starting with a front-end work without the GraphQL query being there. Other than that, I mean, he could help me with the second part where we move the Pages UI to Vue, but then again, I have a lot of that not written down or drafted out. It's mostly just in my head. So I don't know whether there's a big time win in sharing that work, but I don't know. And then again, the Pages UI and on a project level, which is the second part of the work, isn't part of this milestone anyway. It's a stretch. So yeah, not sure.
I think
Do
at
you
least
want to, Himanshu? Do you want to get into Vue and Apollo again?
Oh, well,
Or
I think
is that just a distraction? Because in that case, I don't know if there's a lot of sense in doing that.
yeah, Apollo is not really my favorite technology to work on, to be honest. But and yeah, I have already been working on very different technologies with the heuristics editor and wikis. I mean, wikis is just I mean, it's mostly backend work. It's the Vue code is just one file. So yeah, I've been mostly working on that. So it would be kind of like a context switch for me to have one pages issue amongst other wiki or restrict editor related issues. But I think in the later milestones, we can what we can do is like have sort of pair programming things so that I can understand more about pages. And same for Yanis as well. I can lead the pair programming session where I work on a few things so that we can understand what we are working on, but not necessarily working on them like individually.
Yeah. Yeah, I get a similar feeling. Like it does make probably a lot of sense to kind of share this work in the future. So we're not continuing in these silos. But I don't know if there's a short-term gain in sharing the work right now.
I was actually looking at this from the opposite perspective, since we're kind of turning into the team of multiple full stack engineers, sort of siloed on specific features, and not collaborating as much as other teams that I've seen. And yeah, like, I'm not sure if it's a good thing. Like, I understand the efficiency of not needing to share much information, and just, like, finishing the both backend and the front end,
Yeah.
being an expert in this feature. But at the same time, like, I don't know, if somebody goes on the PTO,
Yeah.
the rest of the team has no idea how scene is built. And also, for example, I know that Himanshu right now is doing a bunch of the backend work, which it looks like it's not like maybe not as productive as if somebody who has more backend experience was doing it, and maybe like Himanshu can spend this time more on the front end side. So I don't know. Like, I understand now that we're sort of far alone on both those things. I like the idea if you two have like a pairing session and share some experience there. It would be nice if in the future we can start thinking in sort of how to split the work better. But it also, like, for you, Yanis, we'll need to discuss, do you want to stay completely full stack? Do you want to move towards backend or front end more? So yeah. Anyway, just for now, my ask is look for opportunities to collaborate more, at least send the merge requests to each other.
Yeah, I think for a start, we can start by sending, instead of going by roulette, we can send each other the merge request so that we can have understanding of the other features in this team.
All right, moving on. Naman, you have a next one.
Yeah. So right now I'm working on mutual TLS implementation. So I was stuck with the setting up a mutual TLS with GitLab API and then accessing it from GitLab pages. Then I tried it from my local to connect with my GCP. And I found out that it requires a CA certificate as well to be sent as a part of the request. And then I included that as a CA certificate in from the GitLab pages. But I think there is some issue with certificate. I don't know, because the same certificate is working on from my local, but the certificate that I uploaded on my GCP and then trying to call GitLab API from GitLab pages is giving me 400. So right now I'm implementing the CA certificate feature in our GitLab pages because it is still not completed. But I tried with manually editing the file and just adding the static file location so that I know that it is working or not. But it's still giving me 400. But if someone has any experience with mutual TLS and have implemented consuming that mutual TLS from the code base, it would help me that where if I'm making any mistake on creating a certificate.
400 sounds a little bit strange to me, since like it
Uh,
means that you passed the TLS certification, right?
I have passed when I was calling from my local, from my terminal. At that time also, if I'm not passing CA certificate, it was giving me 400. So I think it is when I was calling directly GitLab URL from my curl URL.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll post my command that I used for using curl so that you have idea what I'm talking about.
I noticed that you asked in the GitLab team. Did anybody reply?
No, I don't. I did not get any reply on that. So I'm not sure who has the experience because the one who implemented and the MR is who is assigned to it is no more in the GitLab right now. He's the ex GitLab.
Okay. Is there anyone there who was involved in like reviews or discussions who's still
Uh,
here?
I'll try to ping them personally, but I don't know if it's direct pinging will work. But at least if nobody is replying, that is the next step I'm thinking to take.
Yeah, I mean, just ping them on the same thread in Slack. Just, hey, do you have any
Yeah.
ideas? Yeah. Does anyone has any ideas from what you've just heard? Because I don't. No.
I mean, it's little out of the box question, I know, because mutual TLS is the new thing for us as a in GitLab pages. We never touched that, but creating a certificate and using authentication, someone might have experience with.
You may just also ask in the backend channel.
Yes. Okay.
Then sort of cross post the same message.
Okay. Sure. So I will commit my CA changes by tonight or tomorrow, so that at least I have the code that needs to be tested, and we can have feedback from people if I'm missing out something. The second part is redirect. This is the this feature is in our pipeline, not in this milestone, but I went into it, and I think the redirect feature for GitLab pages URL to custom domain when one exists, which we are trying to solve from the UI that we select from the drop down and have it by default on. I think we can do it with domain level redirects that I recently worked on, but I need to test it just to confirm that anything if anything is breaking. But personally, what I'm thinking, it's possible.
It should work, and then we can just close the issue and do
Yes,
nothing
yes,
about it. Yep.
yes. And the third one is the charts implementation of our namespace in path. So one of the questions that I have right now is, should we do a GA without it and spend some time on the charts afterwards if people request to have we had a discussion. I had a discussion with Vladimir, and he was of the same opinion that we can do a GA and then have this charts if people request more about it. But I'm not sure. That's why I'm just bringing it up.
Yeah, I'd say if you both already chat about it and it makes sense, then it works for me too.
Can clients already try this? And if they can, have anybody already done this?
I have not received any feedback on for any of the issues for requesting that it's not available.
Okay, then I would just say let's keep it in beta up until we get some people actually trying this thing.
I think
and then
I had one client ping on some different issue where they were trying it, and I just replied that it's available in Omnibus, not in charts right now. So I'll just search it out and then I put it here.
Manshu, you have next one.
Yeah, I just had a question, actually, an issue with one of the features that was developed by Jihu. So they added support for changing the title of the page using front matter, but there are some issues with that approach. You can have the title in the front matter, and that will work fine on the page itself. But when you are trying to get the list of all pages or trying to render the sidebar, currently we render only 15 items in the sidebar. But in the future, we plan to make it more dynamic and have have maybe all the items, or like have a scroll bar, or even have search in the sidebar. So this would be a problem if the titles are stored in front matter. That means to get the title, you have to parse the whole file. Like in the worst case, if you have 1,000 wiki pages and every file has its title in the front matter, you have to scan all of them and get the title from there, and it slows it down by like maybe 2 to 3%, 2 to 3 times. Yeah, so I have like 3 proposals. Like maybe we store the titles in a single YAML file, or we have a meta file for every wiki page, which personally I'm not happy with. The first proposal is okay, and the third approach is storing the titles in the database. Yeah, Cassio, I saw your comment about the wiki slug thing. That's yeah, they tried to do that as well. In previously, the previous members of the knowledge team, when it was create knowledge, they tried to solve this problem, but the primary issue is like syncing of the data from the wiki repository to the database. We could do that by when you update the things in GitLab UI, then it's easy. You can have hooks. But let's say in the worst case, you check out the repository locally and update the titles of 1,000 pages, that could easily cause a DOS attack on our system. Like it could like.
Sorry.
Yeah.
What I think we should do, like in the UI, as you said, I think it's a little bit easier because usually we edit one page at a time, so we would update just one at a time. But if we have a Git push to our servers, then we can also use hooks in there and start a background job to update in batches all the changed titles. It wouldn't be as real time as expected, but it wouldn't be that slow as well. Even if someone changed all the thousands of pages at once, we would have a patched background job to update that in the database. So should be doable.
That was my very first thought as well, to use background jobs for exactly that, because I don't think people expect this, or would be okay with this not being instantly visible in the front end. I mean, it would be more like a cache thing. Like the database would act as a cache for the page titles, and it.
Yeah, so that's, I think, a good proposal, and we already have the syncing of the front matter information to the database. I don't know how stable it is. So we can get the data from the repository when you're viewing the actual page, but when you're trying to view a list of pages, then we can get the titles from the database. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would need backend support on this one because I have no familiarity with the background jobs.
I think it's about time. I think it's about time you change your title from front end to full stack.
Every time Himanshu asks for help, we keep pushing him to be a full stack. I'm not sure if that's the right thing to do, guys.
Sorry. I meant as a joke.
I think we can schedule a pair programming call next week, Cassio, about this, separate from the previous pair programming call.
How many pair programs are we planning now? I'm getting confused.
Yeah, this is a separate issue, so it needs a separate call.
I mean, it should be pair programming for a day.
So it should be a separate week, maybe. No, yeah, let's talk. This one, maybe you should include Yanis as well, since he had the same idea and he will probably be maintaining that in the future. So I think we can at least discuss the idea in a very informal way, just to explore what we can do in the future.
Also, I think we can ask for support in some capacity from Luke Duncalf, who had been working on this in the previous knowledge team, and he has helped me with merging the wiki autocompletes feature as well. So I think he would asking for his help would be valuable, because he can give us pointers on what not to do, like, because there were certain things that definitely did not work last time.
And I know from at least one community contributions who would like to focus on wiki. So if we can at least describe very well the problem, maybe we can have community contributions as well on wiki backend stuff. The person that I know who contributes to wiki is a full stack. He does backend and front end. So let's try to explore what needs to be done, write it down, and open to see if we can get help from more people from outside.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I saw the contribution you're talking about.
That sounds like a good plan to me as well. Like if you can get together, write something like, I don't know, 10 lines diff or whatever, explaining the basic idea behind what we need to do, post it, involve the community contributor. Yeah.
And to be honest, even Jaihu contributors would be interested in that. They were the ones who created the front matter thing already. So if we have a good description of what needs to be done to improve wiki, I think the Jaihu contributors will also take over that. Sorry to interrupt, Vlad.
Then a question, how sort of involved and quick were Jihu contributors?
Similar to community contributions, as far as I know. They just see stuff that they're interested in, and they just do. But I'm not sure. Maybe we should involve the community team to ask for them, or maybe we have a Jaihu contribution team or whatever. But yeah, that's a good question that I reflected back to you.
Okay.
I would be sort of cautious with asking for their support. Just I've asked in the past, and it seems like there's a lot of movement on like priorities on their side. So I've even had like some folks on their side that aren't even there anymore, that they just don't respond, and then I hear like, oh, they don't work there anymore. So yeah.
Next technical question. If we go with this solution, does it change anything for the redirects YAML, which Himanshu you're currently working on? Do we want the same approach there, or we still keeping the redirects YAML file?
Oh, we're keeping the redirects YAML file. That's a separate issue, because redirects YAML file is kind of the single source of truth for the wiki pages. Like, if you associate a wiki page with a database record and then you rename it, the redirects YAML file is the single source of truth. Like, it tells you where the page went. So we can efficiently associate it with a new record now because of that file.
Okay. Cassius, do you agree? Does it sound reasonable?
Yeah, I'm just thinking that that's very complex. First of all, but maybe the redirect file. What are you associating to what? Are you associating titles to slugs?
I'm associating slugs to slugs. Like, if you rename a page, associate a slug to. I'm already handling a lot of cases. Like, there is a limit, like 50. You cannot have redirect loops, and you cannot redirect to pages that don't exist. It just errors out. So
Okay. Yeah, maybe if we introduce the database thing, maybe the redirect should be slug to ID or ID to slug, something like that. Just because if we keep slug to slug, I think it will be more complex to maintain in the future. I'm not sure. I would have to investigate a little bit better. That's the only thing that came to my mind.
The redirects is only for renaming. Yeah, so the ID to slug linking would be present inside the database. I don't want us to store IDs in the repository. You could just change the ID of any page and then that could cause security issues.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. All right. Let's move this discussion to async and discuss it next week. My only comment there is, Matthew, to you, we may need to change what we assigned as deliverable this milestone because of this discovery work. And I guess
Yeah.
we can move our next point
Yeah,
to the next time.
shift to the other one to the next time. I know we're a couple minutes over, so appreciate everyone's time. Have a good rest of
All
your
right.
day.
Cassia, we will miss
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
I'll be around. I'll be around. See you
Don't
all.
worry, we'll ask for a borrow immediately. So,
Yes, yes, yes. That's a good point.
yeah.
See you all.
Maybe it's already started. All right. Bye,
Bye, everyone.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.